Hi, my name's Chris, and this is my channel of various adventures, repairs, and other stuff that I end up doing. I have a Brozz 250, been riding it on the trails in North Georgia, and I'm not a small guy, so I had to replace the rear shock with something heavier, just so that I didn't bottom out going over bumps. I've been looking for a bigger bike, and turns out one of my relatives had this beauty. A 2002 KTM 640 LC4. And you can tell it's from 2002 by the corroded rubber on all of these little flexible things. So literally every turn signal on this thing is snapped off, but it's got hardly any miles on it. So this is going to be my new project, and to start off we have a couple of issues already. First is this tiny little cooling fan down inside of here, which has decided to give up the ghost basically the first time I got this running. It ran idled for a couple of minutes, long enough to warm up, and the fan smoked and never spun. The other problem is this little fuel valve. This little bad boy is leaking. It thankfully doesn't leak when it's closed, but the moment you open it, it starts dripping down onto the casing and below. So we had to get another one of those. I got some turn signals, and I got a cooling fan. So to start the adventure, I'm going to have to take the tank off and the seat. And that begins with those 3 bolts, specifically that middle one to cut the seat loose. Let's get started. Spidery. Huh. Okay. So we'll set the seat back there. And check this out. So it would appear we have some awesome electronics hanging out up in here. I think this is the control module and some plugs. That one's capped off. That's probably supposed to cover that, if I had to guess. New battery and new air filter element. I'm kind of surprised it's got a big hole in it, but it looks like it was cut by somebody. So, let's keep going. At least these are all the same size as what was holding the seat in place. Man, I gotta appreciate the way this thing is built. Compared to my other bike, this thing is a tank. Well, this is where the battery comes out from this side. There's a strap holding it in. So somebody painted this top one, it looks like. Or it's full of something. Oil. It's green. Weird. Okay. Ooh. Ah, I wonder if it's air filter oil. Hey! Okay, so there's a gasket on the back of this. That's the air filter. Okay, that's got some stuff on it. Alright, let me see what we got here. Nope, that's way too big. What is this, a 14? Not quite. 13? There we go. 13. I didn't expect it to be quite that easy. Okay, so we're going to take this guy off, leave the valve closed, and go from there. So I was worried about the fuel line leaking, so I got a little bucket down here, an old school paint can. It didn't really leak much. So one thing I'm going to do while I've got this off, is replace this little bad boy. You can't see it on camera, but this part of the valve is loose, and when you set it to reserve, it leaks from around this little insert. It does still function. It runs fuel to the motor, but yeah, I got another one of these, so I'm going to back these two out, pull this assembly out, thread the new one on while I'm messing with this, since I've already got it taken apart anyway, right? Alright, so I don't know how well you can see that, but this has got some serious corrosion on it. The filters are missing off the high and low side of it, and this thing looks generally like a disaster. So this is the new one. That is a heck of a difference. You can see it's got little plastic filters here on the top. It's completely missing off of this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. This is shockingly easy to get to. It's literally just 2 screws right here on the bottom of the tank. And that's it. That's the whole shebang. So let's go ahead and let's wipe this down first. Let's make sure that we don't have any crap on here since we're putting a brand new gasket on. Alright. And let's take it nice and easy. And just like that. Yeah. Maybe you other KTM owners are used to this, but I have never worked on something that was this easy to work on. I've never had a piece of equipment that was put together like this, where you could simply access everything and do it quickly and easily. And this is shocking to me. Okay, there we go. Moment of truth. Let's see if it leaks. It is turned off. And no leaky. Alright, I think we're okay. Looking pretty good. I don't see any wetness around it. Yeah, nothing's coming off on my gloves, so cool. That is the new fuel valve. Just like that. Just that damn easy. Alright, so this, in spite of being able to turn, was very unhappy when it tried to fire up. So, yeah, this is gross. But conveniently, we have a replacement. And I'll be damned. It is exactly what was on there. Actually, it's even the same brand. So, SPAL, SPAL, I guess. Yeah, it's got the same label on it. So, I'm going to go ahead and start putting this on. It looks like there's a total of 4 mounting screws here and 1 connector. So, let's get to it. You can see on the left-hand side of the shroud there are hooks that hook on the back side of the radiator. So there's only screws on that front side where those 2 tabs are to take off. Okay. One thing, these are super coarse thread screws, and I'll let you see one up close if the camera wants to focus. Yeah. So these screws thread directly into the plastic of this fan. So make sure, 1, that you have the right size Phillips head for this thing, and 2, don't torque these down super tight, because it's metal on plastic. It will strip it out. Now, as you can see, a fair bit of that screw comes through the shroud and into the plastic of the fan, but you still don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on that. it could just ruin it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new fan on here. After putting the radiator fan back on, I decided to move on to the turn signals. So with the rear, after a good bit of looking around, I realized you have to take out these two right here, which from the underside have nuts on them. You have to take out this little guy, the one facing upward, right here on both sides. And you can see this piece sort of integrates with everything else. That's the wire that controls everything in the back. So I took out these two up here as well, but it's not necessary. That one and that one. One thing I did do is take these panels off, which are held on by that screw on both sides. Just gave me a little more light, made it a little easier to reach back in, but really the most necessary ones are the two on top here and the two on the underside here. These are from the new turn signals, you know, standard red and black. It's fine. The wiring actually goes under there through all of that and clear over to the other side. Now this one I've already got in place. That wire loom goes to the front of the bike there. So the other signal comes through that and goes across under the taillight over this side. There are no connectors here that I can find. So I'm just going to have to solder this. Okay, so for the front of the beast, you can see there's a little nut up in there that holds on that turn signal. Likewise on the other side, it's not quite as easy to get to. It's right here. And shockingly, the headlight is really easy to take out. You only have to take out that screw and that one on the opposite side, screw in here, and this whole piece comes off. Now, I took off these lower ones first, not realizing that that actually releases the entire headlight. So, as you can see, my headlight's in great shape. Not happy. I gotta figure out an alternative for this. But the headlight is very easy to take out and put back in, so that's good. But, yep, time to pop these off and get them back on. Let's take a look at the rears, just because I've got them going. So, that's looking pretty good. And this one, yeah, it's looking pretty good too. Alright guys, got the front end put back together here. All it takes is an 8mm socket. Headlight comes out from this bolt. Whole assembly comes off from this one on both sides. And now let's check it out. Got blinky front, blinky back. Got blinky front and blinky back. So now this is just sitting on there because I wanted to show you guys a very important thing about putting this tank back. So when you go to set it back on the bike, there's a bolt that sticks up here. It's a little hard to see. And I'm going to put you guys back on the tripod here real quick. Because the important thing is right here in the front. Those two little grippy looking things here grip onto rubber, I guess you would call them rubber bushings. Seems like the easiest way is to get it lined up on those rubber bushings first. Set it down on there. Get this breather line reinstalled since I can reach it pretty easy right now. And once you do, it should line up this guy in the back to set down on there. So this is sort of a funny looking bolt that goes on there, but it's a sleeve. It fits down over that. And holds your gas tank in place. Alright, this is in place, fuel line is reconnected. I don't have much fuel in this thing at all, actually, so I really need to go get some fuel. I'm going to try and line up these wires as best I can, some way that they're not going to get pinched. Throw the seat back down. That's got to be the battery tender line. Yep, it is. Alright, that's why that was tight. So, let's go for the seat. The seat is incredibly simple. This slides onto here, that slides onto there, and one bolt in the back holds the whole thing in place. Not what I ever expected, but it works. Just a matter of lining all this stuff up. Yep, that's on there. This is the one that goes on the seat. It's got this slick area here, and it goes right in the middle from the underside. Once we get that on, we can put all the body panels back in place too. Actually, I was probably supposed to put the body panels on before I did this. I was thinking about it. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what happens. Headlight works. Signal works. Alright. Let's go to fuel, choke, run. Just like that. After letting the bike warm up, the cooling fan seemed to be working just fine, so the next day I took it out for a ride. It's definitely running well. Thanks for watching. I hope the video has been helpful, and never be afraid to work on your own gear. Bikes, especially like this one, are really easy to work on. It just takes patience.